Well, because of the economic crisis, as you mentioned, Senator Barkley, retirements are now in jeopardy, and Social Security may be more important than ever. What do you propose to ensure that Social Security is preserved for this generation and for future retirees? And this question, we begin with you, Senator Barkley.
Well, thank you. You know, in 1992, when I first ran for office, I brought up Social Security was going broke. And I remember Barbara Carlson told me, you can't say that. That's the third rail of politics. No one will vote for you. I said, but it's the truth. I've been railing about Social Security now for 16 years. And what do we get from Congress? We get blue ribbon panels to study the issue again. The solutions aren't hard, but they're politically difficult for people who only care about staying in office to make. You either have to raise the tax, you either have to raise the retirement age, you have to raise the cap on what you're going to tax at, or last but you might consider this, means testing the benefit once you've received everything that you've put in, which usually takes 3.5 years. Those are the 4 things that you can do. I don't know what else you can do other than that. If I've heard it, I'd tell you. But that first thing I would do, if I was a senator, I would bring AARP into the discussion and get their buy-in, have the discussions with the #1 lobby that's preventing this from happening and say, okay, we've got to do something now. Will you come into discussions with us? And if we can get them to buy in, I think we can fix it. Again, the solutions are not difficult, but nobody wants to offend anybody. That's why we always say, well, let's study it some more. Well, Tim Penny was on the last study panel. They've come up with recommendations. We don't need to study anymore. The longer we wait, the more draconian the fix is going to be.
Thank you, Senator Barkley. Mr. Franken?
I have a bedrock commitment to Social Security, and this is personal with our family. When my wife Franny was 17 months old, her father died in a car accident. He was a World War II vet, leaving her mom widowed at age 29 with 5 kids. They made it, and they made it because of Social Security survivor benefits. So when President Bush attempted to privatize Social Security, and that's what he said. He said, I have built capital in this election, and I'm going to use it to privatize Social Security. Well, the Franken family fought it. I did on the radio. He wanted, and Norm Coleman wanted for people to take the money that was going to go into the Social Security Trust Fund and put it in the stock market. Can you imagine if we did that? Can you imagine? And I will fight putting Social Security Trust Fund in the stock market, and I will fight personal accounts. Now, if you look at projections, President Bush said that the crisis was that there would be more money going out of Social Security in 2017 than going in. Well, if you had implemented his plan and Norm Coleman's plan, that would have started immediately. Social Security is solvent until about 2047, and they use projections that are conservative projections, and eventually we may have to have a solution to this. And we did it. Last time we did it was in 1983. At that time, the trust fund was about 4 months away from insolvency. We can solve this down the road. Social Security has remained solvent through depressions, through wars, and it is my bedrock commitment that we will keep it solvent, but we're not going to put the money in Wall Street.
Thank you, Mr. Franken. Senator Coleman?
Yeah, if you ask any of the 20-year-olds here, the 22-year-olds the age of my son, do you think that you're going to ever see any of the money that's being taken out of your paycheck for Social Security? They're probably not going to raise their hand. Yes. It's personal to me because my mom doesn't have rich kids, and so Social Security is part of her life. And so the end is how you get it done. This is, we have a debate up here, but the issue is not just kind of philosophical concepts. It's who has the ability to actually get something done. And Social Security, by the way, is an issue that's too big for one party to solve. And unfortunately, reality has shown us that it gets mired in the politics, so you take it out of the politics. And Dean, it's not another commission. We can set up Social Security, the resolution of that, much like we do with base closings. And so you put a commission together, and they come up with recommendations, and then they're there. And either Congress votes them up and down, but you got to get it out of politics. And I want to come back to this issue of how do you get it done, because we have these philosophical debates. You know, Al, when it came to the Wellstone mental health parity bill, had your vision prevailed, had a no vote prevailed, we wouldn't have mental health parity. That was the last shot to do it. You can't simply say, well, I think we should put it in a separate bill. We need to be measured not by what we say, but what we do and the ability to get things done. Social Security is an issue that we cannot solve with a single party. But if we can put the partisan politics aside, if we can put it in a way in which folks are forced to make decisions, we can get, and we do have to get it done. We do it for the sake of our kids. I have an absolute commitment to the protection of Social Security, the protection of retirement for our seniors. At the same time, we need to have the courage, the political courage, to move forward and make sure that that same commitment lives on for our kids.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. Now for the 1-minute rebuttal, Senator Barkley.
I think I just saw the Texas two-stepping in. I didn't hear one answer about how you would do it. I watched the presidential debates where John McCain and Obama were both asked the same question. McCain said, well, the solutions are easy, but he never told them what they are. Then he went on to something else. They dodged the issue. They're afraid to offend anybody. I mean, you're not going to fix it by not stepping on somebody's toes. The fix is not going to be politically popular. And unfortunately, I agree. Democrats, Republicans never want to do anything that's not politically popular because all they're worried about is staying in power, not doing what's right for this country. Again, the longer we wait, the more draconian the fix is going to be. The sooner we get real and say we're going to actually attack this. It's the baby boomers. I mean, there's too many of us. There's a bubble. So we're going to have to adjust for a while. Let's get it done and do it, because the sooner we do it, the less we're going to have to inflict pain on those doing it. There is no easy answer here, but at least I have the courage to talk about it, and I gave you 4 things that I would consider doing.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Franken.
Right now, the trust fund is projected to have a surplus until 2040-something. I have actually laid out a proposal in case in the future we need to address this. As you probably know, about $102,000 of your money is subjected to FICA for Social Security. That means if a person makes $1 million, 10% of their income is subjected to FICA. Now, I've suggested something where no one under $250,000 would be subjected to any increase at all. But if in the future, and I don't think we have to do this, the reason young people are scared about it is because you guys have been scaring them and tried to scare them into investing them in the stock market. And that was a wrong idea, and I was right to fight it. And I fought it, and I showed really good judgment.
Thank you, Mr. Franken. Senator Coleman.
We can do a lot of fighting against. But the question again is who has the ability to actually work together with folks on the other side of the aisle to get it done. And of the 3 of us here, that's what I've done. There is a bipartisan approach, bipartisan have to deal with. Al, I do think, Al, we do have to deal with it. Dean, I think you're right. 2016, the fund starts drawing out more than is going in. And so I think we have an obligation to the next generation not to sit back, and I certainly will do everything in my power. I'm back in the United States Senate to put together a system that forces us to make the tough decision, but understanding it's not my way or the highway, that it's a bipartisan way that solves the problem.